Hello, Wade Northhausen here for Billboard Battalion. So doing something from inside today, so pretty warm outside. Anyway, the issues I wanted to talk about today are something that is going to involve everybody. If people own a house or land, they've got a business, they've got some kind of investments going on here and there, this is involving you. And what I want to talk today about are people who are in the professional field who others rely on to get advice for their businesses or for their farms or their homes or whatever. So I wanted to talk today about particularly, let's say, real estate agents or stock and station agents or accountants, bank managers, farm advisors, business advisors, agronomists, all the kind of people that we rely on to make decisions about your investments and your everyday running of your business or your farm, whether you're in town, whether you're in the city, whether you're in the country, it doesn't matter. That's where we're going with this today. And I wanted to really start to put some focus because we're going to be doing a tour up into northern New South Wales and probably touch base on in Queensland around about the start of April. So, we want to start to organise communities and people to touch base with who particularly in those regions run farms and the businesses that support them. And the issue, of course, is that, as we continually say, there's a lot going on in the world of politics and finance, and we constantly hear the World Economic Forum talking about the Great Reset. And I wanted to sort of start the conversation about what exactly is the Great Reset and what does it mean, and why is it that our so-called professionals who, advise us on the things about this aren't advising us? Why is it that this massive, enormous thing, this total global reset that's going to affect everybody's money and their properties and their businesses, why is it that our so-called professionals who advise us are not saying nothing? They're saying nothing, not a word. And so we really need to start this conversation and start to push this in those circles, because a part of my strategy, of Billboard Battalion's strategy, is that how we wake up the masses, and a lot of people who say, oh, how do you get through to people? So, hello, got people coming through from West Wimmera already. Yep, g'day Sandra, how you going there, mate? That is great, that is fantastic. I'm really impressed with the way people are putting up their locations. That is terrific. I love it. It's really great. And others also who are watching comments and so on can see precisely where we're coming from. So that is fantastic. So yes, the things that are going to enormously impact people's lives and their money, their bank accounts, and their properties, they're not being spoken about. And so you've got Rex from Melbourne. G'day, mate. So you've got, we really need to start to push this into these professional fields, because this is one of the strategies of how we wake up the people. This is one of the strategies that I've got, and we floated this probably over a year ago, and should have pushed it a bit harder then. But a lot of people say, what can we do? How do we wake people up? Well, this is one of the specific things that I think we can, because what we've got to do is these people who are in the business, it's pretty warm in here today, these people who are in the business of advising people about their finances and about their properties and their lives, they are the ones that we need to start telling people about what's happening with the Great Reset. And how we do that is Billboard Battalion starts to get people to ask their advisors, the people who are the customers of these stock and station, real estate agents and the banks and your finances, accountants, business advisors, agronomists, all these kind of people. we need the customers of those people. Go Shaz, how are you going, mate? We need the customers of these people to start asking them questions, because that's a specific strategy and this is going to work. So they need to start feeling the pressure from their customers, and I would put this question to them. You're involved in my business. I talk to you about the strategies, my investments, or what stock I should run, what direction I should go. I'm asking you, I'm paying you as my agent to give me business advice. Then why are you not telling me about this great reset? Why are you not telling me about the biggest threat to my business? You are allowing me to just go about believing that your advice is good and believing that my investment is safe. I might have a whole heap of money in the bank and I might own all this and that and the other thing, but you're not telling me that things are being set up for me to lose this. Things are being set up for me to lose my customer base, my markets, and the supply chains that give me the ability to trade and to operate. As my accountant, as my business advisor, my stock and station agent, my real estate agent, the bank manager, we need the customers. We the people to start putting the pressure on these people and these institutions, okay, Mandy, and say, why are you not giving us advice? How come you're letting us walk into this trap? They're setting up to take everything we own. They're setting up to send us bankrupt. Why are you not telling us about this? Maybe they don't know. And I think that this is a big part of the problem, is that many of these so-called advisors or the people who you involve in your business, they don't know because they don't want to know. They have no interest in the stuff we talk about, even though it is by a million miles the most important thing in our lives, in the world today. This is bar none the most important thing, and we get so many of these so-called professionals who do not want to know about it. And I think because it's something that it's not going to have a big impact on them, they think, and it's something that my opinion of much of these people is that, well, they think they got plenty of dough. They're doing okay. They got their nice house or home, and they got their nice properties. They got their businesses. They got pretty good dough turning over. They can do all the nice things, and I don't think that at the minute they realise it affects them. So I think they work on the theory that they're doing all right, and why should I listen to these conspiracy theorists or these freedom fighters or these nutters, whatever. It doesn't fit my... I don't want to hear about that because I'm doing fine, thanks, mate. Stuff you. I couldn't care less about you. So we've got Pam from Limoth. Well done, mate. Thank you. Trying to keep a bit cool. Yeah, she's warm enough. So we really need to start pushing on these people, and this is how we're going to do this. This is one of the massive big things that we can do to win. And whereas some of this story today, you're going to hear some pretty hard things. You're going to hear some fairly devastating things. But also, the good news is we have the solutions. I said the other day with the strategies. And the solutions are to get this out into the mainstream, out into the general public, is that we need to put the pressure on those businesses or those advisors who hold influential places in the community, and they are in the business of information, but just at the minute they have they've decided or opted, no, look, mate, I'm doing a lot of hours, I'm working hard, which many of these people do. I know quite a lot of these real estate agents and all the people I'm talking about, and they are hard workers. Make no mistake, they're having a go. They work hard. So for them to be successful and all the rest of it, they deserve it, and well done. But They're in the business of advising people about what's going on. And they're not doing a good job. They are in fact doing a catastrophically bad job. Because as we speak, the likes of the World Economic Forum and the UN and your governments, your politicians, keep in mind, the ones you see every day, your politicians are in the business of setting up the destruction of everything that you've got. They're in the business of doing that. And if we look at, we talk about digital currencies, we talk about digital ID, we talk about doing away with cash, all that is starting to unfold. When you see the Commonwealth Bank in Queensland starting to talk about getting rid of ATMs, when you see Bank West starting to shut down branches over there in WA, this is where the rubber's hitting the road. This is where the reality of what we've been talking about for so long, that people who haven't wanted to know about it, I don't want to know about that stuff. Oh no, and I know plenty of these people, and all of a sudden, the things are happening, and they can't avoid these. They can't deny them. So the things that we've been talking about for a long, long time are absolutely happening. So when we talk about our professionals who advise people on their livelihood, and I think of over the years you see stories in the media about some bank or credit union or something, people invested all this money and the next day it shut the doors and they lost everything. And I mean, there's a few of them that have happened in the last 20 years that we can think about and go, yes, that happened. And right up till 5 p.m. on a trading day, people were in the place investing money, and the minute they walked out the door, they locked the doors, shut it down, and that was it. It was over. People lost everything. And this has happened time and time and time again. And the thing is, the people who are running these institutions, they know that this is what they know that this is what they're doing. They know that this is what is happening. So I'm saying now that if we've got people who are in business to advise you on your business, they should know this stuff. And in my opinion, if they're not advising you about this, they're not warning you of the dangers, then are they derelict? Are they giving you bad information? Is it misconduct? Is it unprofessional? Is their advice so bad that it can't be relied on? Well, I don't think that that's intentional, but that's the result. Yes, it is. So we need to start, and this is what we can do, is two things. Number one, anybody who's watching, get onto your financial advisors or so on and tell them to contact me, Wade Northhausen at Billboard Battalion. Tell them to speak to me. I'll talk to them, no problem. And we'll put together presentations that we can take to these groups of organisations of professional people and start to educate them on the stuff that they don't know about or they don't want to know about, or the stuff that they might think, we don't give a stuff about everybody, we're right. I've heard this conspiracy theory stuff, but I choose not to hear about it. And so many times in the world and investments and the rest of it, people knew that certain crashes were going to happen. People knew that things were going to be disastrous, and they didn't say a word. And then the average mum and dad investors, in many cases, have lost everything. So at the end of the day, this is huge. This is enormous. This is happening. If people who have ever heard Klaus Schwab say, you will own nothing and you'll be happy. So I think we should take away the you'll be happy thing. I think we really should do away with the you'll be happy thing, because the bottom line is you will own nothing. That's the bottom line. You're going to own nothing, and you most likely won't have to worry about being happy because you won't even be here at all. Totally. Period. So we are in the position where I think there's still time to stop this, but we have to really get on our bike and get things pumping to the point where we have to start taking action. And the things that I'm describing right now is the kind of action that we can take. And if we can get into our professional people and at the very least start putting the pressure on them and saying, you're giving me bad business advice. Whichever one of those groups or organisations. You're giving me bad business advice. You're telling me to invest in this or buy that or do something else. But why are you not telling me of this enormous danger, this risk to my investments, to my money? When if we can't stop them and they get the whole thing changed over to digital currency, then all these people who think that they're sitting pretty, you're going to find out pretty damn soon, and the hard way, that you were wrong. You played the game, you rolled the dice, and you lost. You have just been smashed. And I know a lot of the sort of people I'm talking about who don't want to know about what I'm talking about. They think you're cookers and nutters and all that sort of thing. They think they're making good money and they're right. Well, I'm here to tell you that when the penny drops for you, when all of a sudden you can't trade, when everything starts going wrong because the WEF and your governments and your politicians have set it up to go wrong for you, when you get to that point and you realise, hell, we've been set up and we're done, we're finished, the shock to people like that is going to be catastrophic. Those people are going to be devastated. So we need to get onto their case and we need to start sorting that out. And I can say that a part of what we're trying to fight against and deal with is an ideology or a kind of an arrogance or a kind of whatever you want to say, where people love being able to ridicule or criticise or put down others. And we're seeing this a lot. I know that we organised a meeting in Tongala in my local town here to have for Bilbao Battalion probably 6 or 8 months ago or something like that. And so there were a few people in the community who fall into the category that I was talking about. You know, they think they've got plenty of money, they think they're doing great, and they consider themselves to be a little bit better than the rest of everybody. They consider themselves, most importantly, to be happy, safe, and financially secure. And those people are the ones who go on the attack. Those are the people who sort of try to make out that people such as myself are, the nutters and all that sort of thing. And many other people follow them and they're intimidated by them, so they don't want to get involved because these so-called community leaders or the people who think they're a bit good, they don't want to know about it, so the rest of them don't want to know about it. And in many cases, these people who influence others, they're good in, they're big business people or, they're big landholders, been there for a long time. They might be big in the footy club or the netball club or the cricket club or whatever. So I would say to the people, and this is one thing we've found, that there's a lot of the people who are intimidated by them watch these lives and they share this stuff around. So they're getting the information, but they're still a little bit too nervous or scared to sort of put their best foot forward and step out of the shadows. But what I'd say to you is, if you're in that category, if you listen to all the people who think they're pretty good, and you are a bit intimidated by them, you don't want to come out and be seen as a freedom fighter, or you don't want to be seen as listening to some of the conspiracy theorists, here's the deal. The people who you're a bit afraid of, the people who intimidate you, they are doing you an incredible disservice. They are going to lose. They're going to lose everything. And they're trying to make you lose everything. So my message is, you need to make some decisions, and we need you to step up. And the decisions are, am I going to just be intimidated and say nothing? Am I going to have the crowd pressure, the peer pressure? Am I going to be intimidated to just say nothing and slink around in the shadows? Or are you going to realise that they're helping to set you up to fail and go down, take your family down? That's what they're about. That's going to be the end result. Not their intentions, I'm sure, but that's the end result. So we need people across Australia and across the world, in fact, to really step up and say, right, we are going to come out of the shadows and we're going to take it on and we're going to be seen, because half of our success relies on numbers. Half of our success relies on people such as you to step up. And that doesn't mean you've got to pick up a weapon and go into a theatre of war. You're in a theatre of war already, but it's not with weapons, not the kind that we're used to. So it's very, very important. It's critical for people such as you to be seen. This is your life we're talking about. And, don't just sit there and say to the people who are on the front lines, oh, look, you're doing a good job, you're doing a good job, but I'm a bit busy, I've got to pay me mortgage, I've got to pay me rent, I've got to do this and that and the other thing. Step out of the shadows. This is your time, and we need you to stand up. We don't need you to pick up weapons, but we need you to be seen, counted, because that's what's going to sway other people. And also, we need to have the right messaging, we need to have the right things that we need to. There's a lot that needs to be done, but it's not rocket science. This is not hard to work out. This is fairly simple. I'm giving you the strategies now. I've come up with the strategies. This is the way we have to do it. And I don't want people at a later date, going, oh, well, what can we do? I'm telling you right now what we can do. So the dot points are, we need to start putting the pressure on the people in our financial sector and our business advising sectors and say, why are you not telling me this stuff? And get into them. Not stupidly, but just say, hang on, no, I'm not going to let you just kick that to the curb by saying it's just a conspiracy theory or it's just some other garbage. I want you to answer these questions. I've been told that my investments, my properties, I'm about to lose the whole damn lot. So, number one, do you know about anything of this? And if they say it's just conspiracy theories, say no, it isn't. If you don't know about it, then say so. If this is a critical element in my economic future and my businesses and my properties and my investments, if this is a critical part of it and you're not telling me, then why don't you find out? Talk to Bilboa Battalion, talk to Wade and find out what the deal is. Get on your case and say, okay, why don't you get a heap of you accountants together, or some of you real estate agents or so on, get a few people together and Wade can come and do a presentation. Bilboa Battalion can come to your place and do a presentation to bring you up to speed. Because, as I've said yesterday, I've put 40 years of my life into this, and I can tell you right now, I know a hell of a lot. I can educate them a lot, but they won't like listening to somebody who's not, all rich and powerful and that sort of thing. But this is the deal. These are the facts. And they don't know it. And once again, I've said before, it's incredible the people who might argue with you, but then when you come to talk about the World Economic Forum, the Great Reset, all this stuff, they've never heard of it. So the bottom line is, your business advisors who have never heard of it need to. We need to bring them up to speed, because then we're going to have an entire level of professionals and people in the countryside who are saying what we're saying. And they will ring the bell, because they will work out that they're going to lose their homes, their investments, their properties, their livestock as well. And I can tell you right now, once these kind of people start to work it out, then we will get action. We will see pushback. All these filthy scumbag politicians who kiss these people's backsides and tell them what a great job they're doing, and there's nothing to fear, there's nothing to see here, just conspiracies, these nutters. Then we'll have these professional people are saying to the politicians, yeah, well, what about this? Wade said this is happening. Wade said that's happening. What is the deal? Don't want to hear any more of your crap and your lies, your BS. You tell us what's going on, because these people themselves, these professional people who have got plenty of money, they're not going to have it for very much longer. They're all their nice properties, and that is on the line, that's on the chop, and they're about to go over the cliff. So at the end of the day, we need to tap into a lot of these people. We need to start to build the networks with them. We need to get the resources happening. This is how we influence and educate the public. We all talk about, the masses who don't know anything and don't want to know anything. Well, I'm here to tell you the strategy is that we start getting them to understand that they're going to lose all their properties and all their money. And once we get them to know that through the avenue of these agents and bank managers and advisors and accountants and so on, get into that field, that's where we are going to have an impact. So that's what I want people to do. I want people to start talking to their agents and the people. Ring them up today. This is so simple. And post your stuff on Billboard Battalion. Put up things in comments. Put the stuff up here. Get onto Billboard Battalion and say, right, I talked to my accountant or my agent or my real estate people or whatever. I talked to them and this is what they said. And find out whether or not they're happy to put a group together and I can come to their place and present the issues and the facts, not the rubbish and the garbage they hear from the universities or the politicians or all this other stuff. Tell them the facts and tell them that while they think they're sitting pretty and they're doing great, they're going to lose their stuff, but this is a part of their professional business. Whether or not they're giving people good quality professional advice. If they're charging you for money, they're charging you money. They charge you commissions or they get some sort of fees or whatever. You're paying them to give you good, solid, sound advice, and they're not. They're not telling you about the single biggest threat to your everything in the world ever, and they're not even telling you a thing about it. So push back on them and get them to say, well, okay, either this is right or this is wrong. And if they say it's wrong, push it harder. Because they're the ones we need to target. Because in terms of them giving you good quality professional advice, they're not. They are failing. They are charging you money for bad advice. They're not telling you what needs to happen. And what needs to happen is that we need to come together. I continually say this. We need to come together to fight and to educate people on the facts. And if they know the facts, we can. And many of these people will be in a very good position to make some very serious donations to Billboard Battalion because we are the leaders. There's no one else in Australia that is doing what we're doing or saying what we're saying. No one. This is our thing. This is how we lead, and we need to help. We need to get people to help us by giving us resources, whether it's IT, whether it's their time, whether it's professional people that can help, whether it's building networks and comms, researchers, all this sort of stuff. Now we're only a very small band, and we're doing what we can. We're investing everything of our lives into this. So one of the major things that we need to do is get funding into it. We need to get people to start kicking in, donating as much as we can. I think we need to start looking at a lot of these bigger businesses, a lot of these bigger farms, these bigger companies, whatever business they're in, they are all under extreme threat. And they should be starting to think, well, Billboard Battalion is on the case here. They're the ones who have been fighting it for us right from the start. They're telling us the truth, so we can help in so many ways. And one of the best ways, of course, is to chuck in some cash, and that way we can go further and bigger and better with what we do. Because everything is on the line right now. So I might might wind it up at that. So where are we now? We're in just the start of March in 2024. We're looking very closely at the May deadline for the World Health Organization meeting there. We've got the digital currency that's folding out here. We've got banks that are starting to shut down cash. We've got all these kind of things. So what we're saying is all happening, it's unfolding, and it's not going to be too long before there's not much we can do about it. So we need to push this now. We need to push it hard. We need to really, really get on the job and, start to highlight some of these things. And I'll just list a few of the things that these people aren't telling you before we go. And like I said, the digital currency, that is a big one, massive. The digital identification, massive. All the crap about climate change, all the lies, the fraud that we're told, and the mitigation policies to supposedly deal with climate change and getting to net zero. All the stuff we've had with the pandemic treaty with the WHO. That's catastrophic. All the stuff with the we'll say native title or all the Aboriginal land stuff, the cultural heritage stuff, are they telling you about this? If you own land, you're going to be in big trouble. That's going to be a killer. If you own any kind of land, property, a house, a farm, a business, a block, a factory. So these things are the exact things that these professionals, so-called professionals, are not telling you. So let's start to rally together and put some things together. We're going up into New South Wales and Queensland soon. We'll try and put together some meetings up that way to go and see, people and start making presentations. We've got a lot to do. There's a lot to do. So, and I do know people right now who their land is affected, very seriously affected, and what they're allowed to do on it by a lot of the cultural heritage stuff and the Aboriginal Land Council stuff, which is, as I said yesterday, that's basically the World Economic Forum taking control of your land through the avenue of these other things. So, all right, people, well, I might call it quits at that. She's pretty warm around the countryside, but I'm here to tell you this is not global boiling. These half-wits and liars who tell us it's the hottest whatever on record, blah, blah, blah. No, it's not. They are liars, and just goes to prove that just because somebody claims to be a scientist doesn't mean anything. Scientists can be bought and paid for. They can prostitute themselves and their profession for money just as easy as anybody else. So when we hear a lot of these so-called climate scientists talking about, the global boiling and that other half-wit from the UN talking about this, they are liars. They're lying to you. I can remember when I was a kid going to school, you'd have days, it'd be 100 degrees in the old money, it'd be 100 degrees time after time after time, day after day after day. And I can remember so many people that you didn't have air conditioners in your cars. There were no air conditioners in houses. And I know people that was so hot they used to sleep in the passage on the lino in the summertime just to try and keep cool. So all the climate change stuff is garbage. It's lies. Once again, the polar ice caps haven't melted. They're still there. So don't get sucked in with this crap. There are people who are intending to do us enormous harm. And the things that we've talked about today, we need to get our professional people up to speed with this as they actually understand what's happening. And that is going to be an incredibly powerful weapon for us to fight with. And once again, once again, the people who say that, this might not be correct, well, it is. The data's there. The evidence is there. We can present that to them. And if they don't want to see it, they don't want to know about it, well, very, very sadly, they might not be around for very much longer. And when they lose everything, they'll wonder why. And they'll say at that point, how did this happen? Why did nobody tell us? Why didn't someone say something when we still had a chance to fix it? Well, that time is right now. We're saying that right now. So this is the time for action, people. And what I've outlined, that is a part of our action. It's a part of our strategy. So let's see people do that, and let's see some responses, and let's see some of the answers they've got. Get on the phone now. Don't muck around. And when I say now, as soon as we finish this video. So first thing, get on the phone, chuck a few bucks in Billboard Battalion, that'd be great. Ring up some of your mates, say, listen, can you chuck in some dough here? Spread this around, get more people to watch it, and get on the phone to your real estate people. Don't take no for an answer. Your bank manager, your account, all the people I've mentioned and more. If you can think of people that have an influence in your business, get onto them and say, why are you not telling me about this stuff? Because if we can push that hard enough and enough people contact these people, they're going to go, well, must be something going on here. What the hell's happening? Why are these people on my case? And I can tell you right now, once again, people power works. We knocked off the north-south pipeline. We shut that down. And a speaking event that I was told I wasn't allowed to speak at in Canberra on the 6th of February, people power, ended up, I got a speaking gig there with that organisation. So people power works. That is our strength. That is our power. And that is something that we can do, that we can beat this with. All right, people. Once again, thanks very, very much for watching. Great to see all the people who are telling us where they're coming from. Share this around, and as usual, we'll be back again at 12:30 tomorrow with other issues. And what we'll be looking at is a bit about the agricultural sector and meat production. We'll be talking about that. We'll be talking about livestock and whether we're still going to have livestock. Because I know it's interesting that in around the Tongala region, we've got a company there and they've just expanded massively their abattoirs. So I'm going to be talking to them soon and just telling them a bit about this, because we're seeing so many people put in so much money and investment, and then they change the rules and they change the laws on you, and that investment just goes AOT, crashes and burns. And make no mistake in the world, it doesn't matter who you are. I saw with the Murray-Darling Basin Plan, when they took the water, we saw state-of-the-art rotary dairies, virtually brand new ones all over the countryside here. Massive investment, millions of dollars worth of investment, and they shut them down overnight because the water went, and those massive investments then just sat there and went rotten. And I've seen some of those state-of-the-art rotary dairies that cost, as I said, the price, like this, you're talking millions to build this stuff in many cases, and to set all the other stuff up around it to make it work. They chopped them up with all the stainless steel, cut them up with angle grinders and sold it for scrap metal. Knocked the thing over, demolish them. So this is real, this does happen. It's going to see a lot more of it unless we the people, Billboard Battalion, and us, you, can fix it. And we can, we just got to make it happen. All right, people, thank you very much for that. Wade Northhausen here, signing off for Billboard Battalion, and we'll catch you again 12:30 tomorrow. So thanks very much, everybody. We'll catch you later.